Duvillain.
Okay, let's go. Steal the show.
Duvillain.
Good day, Duval, Jacksonville, Florida, America, world. This is the Duvillain Show, one of the only honest, trustworthy, and informed Jacksonville Jaguar football shows there is, with unfiltered opinions and discussions, brought to you daily. On today's show, the topic at hand is draft day non-negotiables. And I have three non-negotiables that we're going to be discussing today. Let's just get right into it. The first of which is going to be, as if you've been listening to my last couple of episodes, Mason Graham. Mason Graham is a non-negotiable on draft day. He's public enemy number one. At this point, I consider, from what I've seen and from what I've been able to gather, Mason Graham is malpractice at number 5. He is a Dave Caldwell original. Here's some reasons. Last year, you free agency'd, well, not you, not the staff now, but the last administrative staff. They brought in Eric Armstead from San Francisco, a known defensive tackle who's known for being a defensive tackle throughout the league. And he didn't play much defensive tackling last year. Matter of fact, I think he did less than half defensive tackling that he probably should have did. He should have been doing all the defensive tackling last year, but he wasn't. He was playing defensive end, out of position. I mean, he didn't do horrible, but actually no, there weren't enough sacks. There wasn't enough sacks generated. There wasn't enough push in the center. And again, it's just we can't catch a break on getting the right people in here. Hopefully we do now, that know how to put players in positions to win. And that wasn't the best decision. And I know there's a lot of talk about who said what, like, did Eric want to go defensive tackle? I don't know why that matters. I mean, you're getting paid to play. And if they want you to play your defensive tackle position, I don't think that should have been an issue. If that was the reason why you came here, that's another reason why we shouldn't have had Trick Volke. He should have been fired. He should have been fired a while ago, but it's neither here nor there. Let's get back to it. Another reason for not getting defensive tackle at 5, not just for Mason Graham's shortcomings, but it's because we drafted in the second round out of LSU another Mason Smith. So we got this guy, and when he didn't play the entire year because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. He was slacking and messing up. That's something I understand why he wouldn't be playing. However, when he did play, you could see the push. You could see the guy can play. So I mean, with more development from this guy, we who knows what we can get out of him. And also we got Jefferson. Jefferson was gotten, I believe, in the 4th round, last year, or 4th or 5th. He was a couple years, yeah. He was picked in the 4th or 5th round. And he played decently, and he didn't get enough play time. But when he did play, you could see little flashes from these guys. And you had all these resources in Eric Armstead. You have another year on him. You also have Hamilton, and I mean a lot of people say things about Hamilton, but Hamilton came on a little bit last year. He was very stout in the middle. He stopped. He was integral in stopping the tush push. We stopped Philadelphia a couple times, And I don't know if that's because he wanted to make his name known, but he did stop them. He does run stopping abilities. And a couple years ago, towards the end of last year, a couple years ago, when we did go to the playoffs, and we did do some successful winning in the playoffs. He was key, and more than a lot of people know. That's why he got the contract afterwards. And he's been coming back from that injury that he had. And again, we don't know all the jars that we have in shelf, but we do have jars in shelf. We have new guys, we have older, experienced guys that have some type of body of work. So I don't see a reason why just forget about Mason Graham alone. Just picking defensive tackle at 5. If you just want to just it's just not good allocation of resources. I mean, it's just not. So I just can't see how this organization is going to pick this player when they've done everything else right coming in. They're complete, I would say, like, resurfacing of this organization, like, from the bottom up. I like it, and it makes sense. And this pick at 5 would not, and to me, it doesn't make sense, because even Gladstone said the other day that they did want to make the floor of this team strong, and they did. But now in the draft, they want to work on the ceiling. Mason Graham is nobody's ceiling, so I can't see how they would do everything else so right and this so wrong. I'll get back to Mason Graham a little bit later, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think we need to understand this, and I've seen this before, and I'll get to that later, and I have a comparison I want to make. Ted McMillan is number 2. Ted McMillan is number 2. Now, Ted McMillan is a polar opposite of Mason Graham in a few ways, but he was high on my board. He was the player, I think, after Hunter's gone, Abdul's gone, he would be the next in terms of wide receivers. I mean, I've seen him and his abilities outside of Travis Hunter. He has really great abilities that are kind of a little above the other receivers that I've seen, even though a lot of the receivers did test well. But Ted's film looks really nice, but he doesn't like to practice, and not in the Allen Iverson way of I don't like to practice. I'm talking about he really doesn't like to practice. He even said in a video I heard the other day that he doesn't even want to watch film outside of practice, outside of like film studies with the group, because he feels like he already had enough. I'm like, well, that's not enough for me, because I'm sorry, that's not enough. Like, that extra work matters. Those little extra things matter. That little extra preparation matters. All those things matter. And compiling all of this practice up over time, there are going to be people that just surpass him just because they've stuck to it and they've got better. They've sharpened their knife. And this guy, he's a little. I'm not saying he's stupid, but the knife is a little dull. If you listen to the video yourself, it's out there. It was concerning to me. He sounds lazy. He doesn't seem like he likes football, let alone love it. I can't see anyone else being great if there's no love in what they're doing. I just don't see you being great. Everybody almost, I can't think of anyone right now, but I can't think of anybody I know that loves something that's great at something that didn't love it. But I hope the best for him. Maybe he changes. He is young. I mean, all these guys are young. Maybe they change. You can change mentality, but mentality is very hard to change. Mason Graham, I mean, he could, I don't know. Look again, I don't know what the future holds. I'm just giving you the information that I've seen, and I've already given a laundry list of why you shouldn't get Mason Graham. He has a small frame. He has a smaller frame. That's why he doesn't weigh that much. And I'm sorry, but we need more. We need more size. And they're talking about this guy possibly being a nose tackle at one position. I'm sorry, one technique. No, that's not what he is. His teammates can be that. And then when you're watching the film, it looks like his teammates is eating up a lot of these blocks, and he's getting through. And That's just my opinion from it. I'm not saying that guy can't play, but I'm just saying he's not the best pick for us at 5. I mean, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave Ted McMillan for where he is right now. I don't want either of these players at 5. These are 2 non-negotiables. The third non-negotiable is not a player, but it's just an idea. Not getting the best player possible in terms of physical and mental capabilities is a non-negotiable for me. The parallels between both players that we mentioned already, or I mentioned already. One of them has all the mental aspects, and Mason Graham, he does seem like he's a very sharp kid. I do think he loves football. I think he will get better over time, but I think you can definitely kind of see the ceiling and his inability to, or just lack of desire to want to compete at the measurables, at the measurable portion of the draft process, in terms of the combine, in terms of his pro days, picking the specific workouts that he wants to do. That's very telling to me. I'm concerned with that. I'm very concerned with that. That's showing that maybe you don't feel like you can compete physically when it's apples to oranges, because make no mistake about it, they might tell you that the combine and all that doesn't matter, but you're being measured and seen next to these other players, and it does matter. It does matter. Them showing that they're more physically explosive, faster, stronger, more agile, can jump higher, can jump further. It's just that those things do matter when you're playing the game of football. Now, the skill part needs to marry that. That's why you watch the film. But the explosiveness, for you to, when you're in the next level, you need that extra stuff that the average guys can't do, that the guys that are showing up actually competing can do. Those things do matter at the next level, because a lot of the guys at the next level have those things. So to just stop letting people tell you that those things don't matter. Those measurables do matter, because you can go to one school and you can have a situation where you succeed in that situation because you have a good coach, you have a good environment, you have good other players around you. There's not much asked of you, but that's not apples to oranges all the time, because another player might have been better at that position, but we don't know. They're not in that position that you're in. Things are different, but when you can see someone side by side, you get a better idea of what they can do for you specifically, and not just what if they fit well in the scheme. All right, so non-negotiable. I want both physical and mental capabilities. I don't need a tech not wanting to practice, not doing the extra little things, not staying a little longer most of the time. Most of these guys probably don't do that, but I want somebody that at least loves the game, who's thinking about the game, who dreams about the game sometimes, like who wants to actually win, who doesn't sound like it, they don't have any care in the world for the game whatsoever. That's going to be basically taking care of them for the rest of their life. And the mental aspect with the tangibles, with the intangibles, and the physical aspect with the tangibles are both the things that are non-negotiables. We need both of those. We need somebody that can come in and fit in with a group, who has leadership capabilities, but he doesn't have to have them, but you need to be able to fit in with the group. You have to have the mental capabilities to fit in with the group. And I'm not poking fun at anyone who doesn't. I don't. I'm not that person either. I very well do not play well with others. No matter how hard I try, it's just I'm always going to be too truthful for the world, and that's not something that's always good. But I'm going to stay in my lane, telling the truth, not compromising my integrity like I see a lot of media members doing. Because I'm sorry, but I don't believe most of you guys who say that you want some of these guys in the draft. I think you're bold-faced liars. I think a lot of you guys are on the take, and your other guys are just a bunch of suck-ups, and the other guys are too stupid to know that other guys are just suck-ups and other guys are on the take. And these there are I'm not saying all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all. I'm not saying any names, but there are networks that get paid to push, you know, um, bad information to you, because believe it or not, society or people who have money, people who have power and influence, they think the majority of us are stupid. They might not be wrong. They might not be right. But that's what I believe. That's what they think by what I've seen coming out throughout this world. Let's get back on Jaguars. All right, so at 5, let's marry him. I want a freak of nature that has great chess skills in the draft. Now, in closing, I am concerned because before Mason Graham, there was a guy named Leonard Fournette, and the media has given Mason Graham the Leonard Fournette treatment. They pushed this guy so hard in the media to the people. They never, and the people never pushed back, and the media never pushed back to whoever they got this information to. And that's why when we obviously needed a quarterback, no matter how hard I tried to make sense of it, no matter how hard or much sense I tried to put in the fans, media, and the organization, they ended up drafting Leonard Fournette over Patrick Mahomes. This team should be having Super Bowl championships or in a position to be always front running for a Super Bowl championship with Patrick Mahomes, with a generational player. But we don't have that because nobody spoke back to the egregious decisions that these people are making. They did, and they really did. If you go back and listen to it, they did. They'll tell you they did. Like, oh, that organization, this is what they're gonna do. This is what they decided to do based on information they had. That's not fighting back. That's your way of placating people. Tell the reasons why they need to do what they need to do. Tell the people that, instead of trying to placate the people with the organization's just trash that they're trying to push. I mean, like, I've said this before, man, but like, these people is like, I don't know if they want the Jaguars to win with some of the people that have been brought in, because I'm like, I could have did a better job than this. If I was a GM, we'd be Super Bowl champions, multi Super Bowl champions. A lot of people would say that, but I have the record to show that I would have picked the best players throughout rounds in many drafts that I posted online. There's a way back machine, babe. And a lot of the media members you're listening to right now, remember what they're saying right now about each of the players. Remember who they're giving all the shine to. Just remember that. Please remember, because even if you don't remember, I'm going to remind you if they pick Mason Graham or Ted McMillan at 5. Now, you can get other players, but you're gonna need to explain it to us, and we're gonna need to see a reason behind it. But there's some players you can pick at 5. Would have been better if we got a little, at 4 and below, but that's okay. All right. But I just hope that we don't pick Mason Graham at 5, and I'm kind of concerned that we will, because of this intangible riches. Intangible riches sounds like Mason Graham to me, because he has intangibles. I mean, he's probably rich because, I mean, all the push. I don't know. Look, I don't know. I'm not saying Mason Graham's pushing nothing. I mean, it ain't his fault that people like saying stuff about him. I mean, people just think he's good for whatever reason that I can't see whatsoever, other than over other players. I'm not saying he's not decent, but I'm just saying, like, if you're talking about having baskets of players, he fits in a basket along with most of the other defensive tackles. So we can get that at another level. We can get that later on. I'm sure we can get a better one than him. He's not. He's not the best. I'm sorry. If he was one of the better ones, he'd be competing. If he was one of the better ones, his stats would be a lot higher than the other ones. He's not. He's just right along with everybody else. I'm not seeing it, guys. And his teammate looks a lot more appetizing and fits a greater positional need that we have, because we do not have a one technique. We need a nose tackle, and he would be a great nose tackle, I believe. Man. All right, let's get back to it. So I'm just hoping that we don't do that with Mason Graham, because if we do, just prepare for the level of roasting that is so epic when this guy does not do what he needs to do, because he's not going to be able to. Not at that size. He's not going to be able to do that in the league. He ain't finna be pushing nobody around the league, and we have pressing matters at a stalled out offense that could not do anything last year. We don't need that first and foremost. We need some studs that can push that ball down the field. Help us push that ball down the field. I don't care if it's offensive line. I don't care if it's wide receiver. I don't care if it's running back. And you could, as long as it ain't Mason Graham, you can get me to get that tight end. You can get me to get a tight end at 5. I'll take that, because that beats the alternative. As long as you got at a position, even if it's not a great position or a strong position with a lot of positional strength behind it, like a defensive end or quarterback or something like that, I can stomach it, because you're getting a high level player. Mason Graham doesn't scream that to me. I mean, he's great, he's a good player, but I'm talking. I need better at 5. We're at 5. We played ourselves out of the first pick, and we got to the 5 pick. I still want something out of this. So trade back, and then pick him up if you want him so damn bad later on in the round, and get something else to kind of even that shit out, or pick a player that has a combination of it all. Only time will tell. That's been me for today, Jaguars. I love you guys. I hope to see or hear from you in the comment section. This has been the Duvillain.
Duvillain. Okay, let's go. Steal a show. Duvillain.